What would you do if there was a child right in front of you, sitting all alone, crying in pain from hunger, near death from sickness? And
fuck 'em! This is more important. Imagine your treats have run out and you have to look at their longing faces. Or you've smoked your last cigarette. Absolutely heartbreaking. You can prevent these problems by buying a cuppa for only 99 pence. Thank you to UK M, who kindly bought one since the previous video. You know where the link is. Look how happy it makes them. Now, it's time for a shit video.
Afternoon. I hope you're coping with all this heat. You certainly are, aren't you? Because you love it. Now this week we were going to be in France, however, the file was corrupted, so that's got to wait for another day. So then Mystery Ming found a film called A Chinese Ghost Story. So we bought that to give that a review this week. However, we brought the wrong one. So whilst it is a Chinese ghost story, it's a different one. It's an erotic ghost story instead. Whoops. It's a story of 3 foxes who are given human form in the form of women, who are sent to rid society of its ills. But they are given one simple rule. Don't fall in love and don't engage in any Chinese bedroom twister. Now, because they've taken the form of 3 women, naturally they're not going to listen. Thus, 45 minutes of this hour-and-a-half film is spent breaking that rule. So, here's a review of the other 45 minutes. Now, one of them meets a man and they fall in love. Then he meets her 2 sisters, and then you can only imagine what's going to happen. Turns out he's not as innocent as he makes out. Will they break the curse and return to their fox selves? Will they save society of its ills? And will Saturday night at the movies bingo be fully completed in this film? Absolutely. But lastly, and most importantly, will it be any good? Let's find out. You ready? This is your fault. The film starts with the opening titles. Not just any old ghost story. A woman is out for a walk and decides to sit down and have a drink. I wonder if the locals are going to be enamoured by her charms.
莫姐啊，真上無菇菇饅頭店，整嗰啲撚手肉饅頭真係好大好大啊！啱，佢皮香肉滑，真係好似個杯咁大啊！
So of course, Hong Kong's version of Sid James and Bernard Breslau decide to go and annoy her.
你兩個啊，唔好喺度搞搞震啊！行開啦，老鬼，飛翻個饅頭我啊！哎呀！仲你？
Unlucky, they decide to run off and tell their friends that they've just been beaten up by a woman for trying to grab her tits.
你老味啊！你兩個做咩搞成咁鬼樣啊？大佬啊，我哋俾條女搞成咁嘅。咩話？你兩條麻甩佬都搞唔掂條靚女，該打！
After telling their friends just how big those buns were, they all decide to run off and have a look for themselves. I wonder how this is going to turn out.
啊，佢個胸啊，好似個茶煲咁大㗎。係啊，真係真㗎。佢着件低胸衫，見到就爆你扯火啊！
They catch up to a woman walking through the trees, but even like us, they can't tell each other apart either. It's the wrong woman. However, she tells them that she has a couple of sisters as well, and they can form a queue and all have a go. They all run off for a bit of afternoon Chinese bedroom twister. Until... Dion, is that you? Dion? Again? Oh dear, Cursed by Dion and shit special effects.
佢哋走咗啦。 估唔到初初搬嚟修真，出嚟行下啫，就遇到咁多事喎。記住翻去唔好俾姐姐知啊，佢實會怪我哋招搖噶。知道啦。
Are they witches? Are they ghosts? At this point, I don't think it really matters. Anyway, one of the three foxes decides to go and visit a fertility statue. I'm not quite sure why, if every time they try and get some bedroom twister they turn into Dion, but here we are.
Ừ.
道長，當心啊！
好話好話，依頻道遇見，要當心嘅應該係小姐你喎。
哦。
頻道小號上元下貴，咁樣小姐方明。
陌路相逢，非親非故，不必留名道姓，都係算啦。
How rude, he's only trying to be friendly. I'm sure she'll bump into him again. Ah, there he is.
你自己做過乜嘢，應該心中明白。
咁你以為我做過啲咩啊？
He tells her that her and the other two are acting like slags and to not be lustful because it leads to problems. This, of course, leads to a special effects fight.
你既然不聽忠言，頻道亦都唔勉強你。第日有咩事，去碧潭瀑布揾我啦。
All perfectly normal.
咩新鄰居嚟啫嘛？
哦，隔離咪搬咗3個大姑娘嚟咯。
你成日都未出過街，點知隔離搬咗3個大姑娘嚟啊？
係喎，我成日都未出過街喎，雀仔都應該出去散下步咯。
咪行住，你點知㗎？快啲講！
我喺花園睇到。
你喺花園作窿？
啊，唔係啊，我係擒上牆頭嗰度睇到㗎咋。
Dirty sod. He broke easily then.
我唔得啦，唔得啦！
Whilst their neighbour is having some Chinese bedroom twister next door, the three foxes are sitting there meditating. I wonder what they're thinking about, against all rules. Of course, the first two are thinking about cock, but the third one doesn't get to think about anything, because the statue falls off, disturbing them.
老祖像點會跌落嚟嘅？我諗老人家收真收得耐都會肚肚啩。誒，唔好攞老祖嚟開玩笑。夜啦，大家食啲嘢，早啲休息啦。哦。
Later that night, one of the three, I don't know which one, they all look the same, walks out to the pond because it's hot and sees the other two ladies engaged in some extracurricular pond activity. However, she doesn't join in. She goes in and prays, like a good fox. The next day, the good one decides to go for a walk to get away from those two pain in the asses at home. However, her peace is shattered by a man running for his life.
救命啊！救命啊！咪走啊！走走斬死你啊！
How's she going to get down there in time? Of course.
光天化日之下，你哋點可以隨便傷人㗎？
姑娘仔，你嚟得真係啱啦！等我拖完呢個僆仔，然後就帶你上山，同你開心開心。嗯？冇事嘛？
No Chinese bedroom twister for those three. Ah, if only those powers existed in real life and when we could use them.
小心無意觸及小姐貴體，有失禮儀，恕罪恕罪恕罪。
好秀才，你剛才險死橫生，仲講咩禮儀啊？
He's rather polite for a scholar, unlike the ones we get.
小心寒舍簡陋，難認高人雅客。
我唔係雅客，亦非高人，但係你就係一個泥人啊！
Remember those fine words. Clean your room, because you never know who's coming round and when. Ah, if only all women could do it that quickly. Back at the house, the two slaggy ones are about to have dinner when the other one who met the bloke earlier turns up ready to go out. I hope she's not going to fall for the lustful charms against all rules.
邊度啊？我出去行下，你哋唔使等我啦。
Of course, because they're all women, they're all nosy, so one of the sisters follows her to the bloke's house, who sends her out to get some food. Who then invites herself in. Watch out for the peeping Tom.
邊個啊？白小姐啊？係咪白小姐啊？你係邊個啊？
我個名叫菲菲啊！
我唔識你㗎喎。
我係叔叔個妹妹啊！
咁你嚟做乜嘢啊？
我嚟呢度揾我家姐㗎，咁啱到到你今日啫嘛！
你咁偷睇我沖涼？
Yes, she did, and despite it all being her fault, the other sister gets angry and goes to settle the score.
佢仲好大聲咁趕我走，呢個臭男人梗係想死頂啦！二姐你，我要揾佢算賬，你唔好去啊！呢件事係我唔啱啊！二姐啊！
She goes to his house for a fight, and it turns out exactly as you would expect it to turn out in this film. Left-hand dagger, her sister won't be happy. After the other sister gets home after being rogered, the one who caused all the trouble goes round to see how he is.
二姐真係太過分啦！佢唔應該咁樣折磨你噶嘛！
唉，我都係咎由自取嘅。
打到你咁傷，想收埋人命咩？
Oh, for Christ's sake. After 8 minutes of them doing exactly what you think they were going to do, the actual original sister who fancied him turns back up, hopefully with the food. Where was she about an hour ago?
請坐。
邊個話我嚟坐啫？我嚟係睇下你有咩需要嘅。
哦，我諗都冇咩需要啦。
咁我同你執下地方啦。
而家地方唔係幾好咩？
咁我同你執下張床啦。
有勞小姐。
I wouldn't if I were you, love. Not without some rubber gloves. Plus you might find some evidence of what your sisters have been up to around there.
唔明呢啲髮簪係邊個留低㗎？
係我特登買嚟，打算送俾你。你滿唔滿意啊？
你講大話！呢啲髮簪有油味嘅，分明就係有人用過。
He eventually gives in and tells her that his sister came round and gave him one, and then the other sister came round and gave him one, and she faints from the shock of it, so he carries her to the bed, and well, you know what happens next.
咪住，坐低啊！你哋心裏有事。
That's one way of putting it. They both admit to playing Chinese bedroom twister with her fella. It's a good job he's not going to turn up now, because it'll go mental.
我咪嚟咗咯。
Well, this is all very forgiving. I wonder how the next 27 minutes are going to turn out.
唔明，你聽住。
講。
呢度係我哋姊妹修真之所，唔可以喺神聖嘅地方度胡鬧嘅。
唔係呀，早嗰幾日我哋咪玩得好開心嘅。
She tells him that he's not welcome there anymore, despite all the things that they've all done together. Naturally, He takes it really well. In fact, he does. And just says he'll have some fruit with them before he fucks off home.
嗱嗱，你嘅
Well, this is all very pleasant. However, for the next door neighbour, it's not pleasant at all, because every time they're eating fruit, something happens to her. What's he up to? Christ, it's like Mystery Ming on the rug after she's eaten some plants.
仲有個鳳梨喎。
夠啦。
Who knew pineapple would be quite so powerful? Oh dear. How romantic. Then, for no reason at all because it's not explained, the scholar is at home sending out magical butterflies to people that attract him to his house. It turns out that he gets old if he doesn't get his leg over, so the more he gets his leg over, the more he stays at a young age. Of course. They're not dying, but because they've been mucky, they're turning back into their natural fox selves. Unlucky, you were warned. Because there are no lady shaves around, they're a bit annoyed, so they go and pay him a visit and see a bit more than they want to. Dion, is that your head on the back of his? I think so. After seeing something happen I couldn't possibly show you, they all run off and they all need to come up with a plan. Hopefully this film ends soon. Only 10 minutes left.
白素素，你終於都嚟啦！
道長，小女子無知，自惹魔業纏身，專程嚟向道長請求避禍之法嘅。
世間禍福為人自招，你招得佢嚟，點解唔可以趕佢走啊？
五通乃兇悍魔神，心通妖法，小女子自問鬥佢唔過。
In a tale as old as time, despite the fact she didn't need his help earlier and didn't want to listen, he doesn't hold a grudge because he's not a woman, and tells the girls how to defeat him. That's right, they make a voodoo doll. This'll work. Women will never understand the pain. Naturally, he gets a bit pissed off and goes outside, which means there's going to be a final showdown. There's somebody at the door. Is anyone going to enter a house normally in this film? Of course not. Unlucky. Try some colourful special effects instead. They end up on their backs again, which is exactly what started all these problems in the first place.
我哋之間到底發生咩事啊？我唔明白啊。
Of course, he uses his spell to make them take their clothes off, which means it leaves one other person to defeat him.
好嚴肅，夢已醒，情已滅，你仲想搞乜嘢？臭老道，此乃本魔神之事，唔使理你。行正時方為神，反邪淫就係魔。貧道今次絕不饒你。
So then he ends in with a sword, something he could have told the three women to do about 20 minutes ago.
業由自作，不可活。
多謝道長相救之恩。
The priest disappears very quickly before the three women start talking to him, and then it's the it's the end. Well, that was interesting. For a film that was essentially partly muck, not real muck of course, it's very well made, and even though the effects are a bit 80s ropey, nah, they're passable. Would I recommend it? If you've got nothing else to watch. It was full of that Hong Kong stupid humour throughout, which you'll find in most of their films, even the serious ones. Apparently it spawned two sequels we shan't be borrowing, buying, by accident. Anyway, next week we definitely will be in France when we find the uncorrupted film, and not that kind of corruption. Until then, ta-ta for now. But remember, always double check the title of what you're downloading. If you enjoyed this video or thought it's slightly less shit than the others, you can always buy us a Cuppa on Ko-fi. The link is in the description below, and thank you in advance if you do.